Well, hi. Hello and welcome to another episode of the War on China. We
Alert,
want
alert,
to.
alert, 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 alert. It's a war on China. War on China, war on China. U.S. soldiers in Taiwan. Biden, Mr. Xi, we will honor the Taiwan agreement as always. Of course we will. Soldiers in Taiwan. What? Mr. Xi, we will honor the Taiwan agreement as we always said we will. Of course we will. We would never not honor the Taiwan agreement. We want to calm things down. Soldiers in Taiwan. Soldiers in Taiwan. Alert, alert. What? I mean, what the hell? Hey, everybody, how's it going? How's it going? How's the geopolitical diplomacy going? You tell me. Welcome to the war on China. Fernando, help me out. You're much more coherent about these things than I am. You do more research than me. I just touch on the surface and then I get upset. I mean, it's unbelievable. Fernando, talk to me, please. I
Well,
love you,
we are
brother.
going
Good to
to
see
talk
you.
about. Good to see you, man. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff related to this news related from Western media about troops in Taiwan. The
There's
interesting
more.
thing about this one is that there's a couple of things that were known from some time ago. Let me share a picture right here. This is something that a senator tweeted a few months ago. Let me find him where he is, right here. I don't know if you guys can see it there. Okay, I'm using this new feature, so give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. Column. Now I want to see this one. Okay, this is a senator saying that there's 30,000 troops in Taiwan, and he posted this a couple of weeks ago. Let me remove this 1 second. This is not showing the way I wanted it. Sorry, guys. Um, but it's right here. So let me see if I can show it from here. Where is Senator? Here. Okay. So basically, Senator is saying that there's 30,000 troops, and he said it a few months ago. So the argument that Beijing doesn't know about this is kind of strange, right? There you go. Senator John Cornyn saying 30,000 troops in Taiwan. That was very upsetting to a lot of people because what? We didn't know that this was true. Although people say that there's been troops in Taiwan for a very, very long time. The problem is how many are there and what are they doing? And the issue with what this news showed up, yeah, U.S. troops have been deployed in Taiwan for at least a year, is what they're doing. They're training soldiers as separatists to fight
That's exactly
against
what they're doing.
the PLA, and that's an issue.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Um,
exactly.
yep,
I
tell
mean,
me.
I love the way you said it. I wouldn't have thought of it. That's brilliant, Fernando. They're training soldiers to be separatists, just like they trained the Uyghur separatists to be separatists up in Xinjiang to make trouble there. Why? Because Xinjiang is a key right in the middle. It's the key bridge out to the Belt and Road, out to the rest of the world. That's the strategic problem with where Xinjiang is located. Happens to be Pambian. Pambian is Chinese for next to Afghanistan. Hello. So they're training soldiers in Taiwan as separatists. Thank you. What are we talking about? Taiwan's a country. It's separate from China. What? No, excuse me. Hello? Listen to me, people. I know you, how do I say this? Puerto Rico it's separate from America. It is. It's separate. It's different. It's got some independence. Absolutely. California, it's a state. It's part of the United States, but it's really different. Man, folks, they do stuff in California that they don't do anywhere else. Everywhere in America. The other 49 states, with the exception of with no exception, think what they do in California, the policies, the way they run the government, they think they're out of their frickin' minds. They starve farmers in farmland to save little fishies. That's what they do in California. So they're very independent in California, too. And Taiwan, it's got a big high degree of independence, which I'm going to, by the way, tell you about why, going back to the 1930s, the things that I've learned and researched in the last 3 days that'll boggle your mind about Chiang Kai shek and Mao Zedong and the 1930s and why the United States supports Taiwan. But at the fundamental root of it all, no. No matter how much you want California to be different and separate from the United States, it isn't. It's a state. You see? And no matter how much you want Puerto Rico to become the 51st state, you can want that all you want. Desire it, work on it, legislate, do votes, everything. But until it is, it isn't. Okay? And that's the case with Taiwan. Get it straight through your heads. I have no problem with the fact that anybody
The
wants Taiwan to be independent. If they can make a deal with Beijing, fine. But that isn't going to happen. We don't, it's not our concern.
Well, the thing is that a lot of people will say, like, oh, you're just saying this. You're just saying this because you have to say it. But it is not us saying it, is international law. Think about that. You just said that California is a state. And as true as that is, it is also true that Taiwan is a state, that Hong Kong is a state. There are states, but that doesn't make them a country. What makes a country a country? You have to be a sovereign state. And what gives a state that sovereignty? There's two kinds of sovereignty. One is called the de facto sovereignty, where you have the people, the currency, the military, all the legal infrastructure that is necessary. And then you have de jure sovereignty, which is basically when the rest of the world admits that you or recognizes you as a country. So de facto means that Hong Kong has its own passport. Hong Kong has its own currency. Hong Kong has its own legislation and different system. Yes, it's a
But it's not a
state by
country!
definition, but it's not
But
a
it's not.
country. It's not a country. So Taiwan is exactly the same thing. Now, very important. How many countries recognize Taiwan as a country? That's why de jure sovereignty comes from the international recognition of a country as a country. Well, over the last 20 years, 9 countries have backed off from supporting Taiwan as a country. So now they're down on 15. But this year, tiny little country, Lithuania, added itself to the list. So now there's 16 countries from all the hundreds of countries in the world that recognize Taiwan as a country. That doesn't
They,
make enough, 50%, to get de jure sovereignty. So it doesn't matter how much you say it, Mario, how much I say it, is what the international law says. It is not a country. Shut up. Case closed. Now,
and,
what does it mean when there are
okay,
troops
go.
in Taiwan? Who is invading who? Who is invading who?
Thank you.
If we
Thank
just
you.
assumed, if we just ascertained that Taiwan is not a country, Taiwan is part of China, then who's invading who? What are those troops doing there? So I gotta take people back and let them know how much China needs to be credited for how peacefully they're taking all this situation. As you said it, talk about Puerto Rico. Imagine if China had troops in Puerto Rico, if China had missiles
Troops in
and bases
California.
in Mexico, in Canada, all around the United States. Think about if China had submarines hitting rocks around the Florida Keys. I mean, think if that were happening. At that point is the only time when you can actually say China is the aggressor. But reverse the situation. Who's the aggressor here? And they say, oh, we're just defending trading routes. We're defending trading routes because the South China Sea is very important. The Asian countries along the South China Sea are calling us to defend the trading routes. Bullshit. Bullshit. These are disputes that are always settled diplomatically. And whenever there is exercises that are military, guess who? It's not just the Asian countries calling Western countries, which is up for debate. I haven't heard about that. But here's an example of, well, Asian countries cooperating together. Oh, Indonesia and China hold joint military exercises. Oh, China's navy to join Thailand and Malaysia for training exercises. Oh, Malaysia to host China, Thailand, and naval drills. You're not needed, Western forces. You're not needed. The countries along the South China Sea are cohesive, are together, and they resolve the disputes diplomatically. Mario.
Yes, and let me now throw the bomb of all bombs on top of all the wonderful 5, 6 points that Fernando just made. Besides international law, besides the recognition and the obvious insanity of things like China troops being elsewhere to influence other countries. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Besides all these fabulous points, let me put the cherry on the cake, okay? Because you're still confused. I can see it in your eyes. You're still confused. Oh, but Taiwan, it's a country. No. Taiwan's own constitution doesn't even refer to it as a country. That's called a mic drop. Taiwan's own constitution doesn't even, besides international law, besides the 1972 or whatever Taiwan U.S. Japan agreement that guarantees the togetherness of China and Taiwan. It's Taiwan's own laws written into their own country's constitution that does not refer to it as a country. So, case closed, double over, and there's the cherry on top of the cake. Now, the beauty
People
of this,
always say,
Fernando,
yeah, tell me. Sorry.
the beauty of, no, it's okay, I'll segment into the next part. I'm going to share background. But go ahead, finish. Go to your next point, and then let me go into the background of this Taiwan insanity. I found the root of it yesterday.
Yeah. My point here is that a lot of people say, like, oh, but what is Taiwan's claim? If you look at Taiwan's claim, Taiwan actually says that they are the actual government of all of China. Their claim is that the ROC is the island of Taiwan and all of China, plus part of India and part of Russia. That's Taiwan's claim. So if you reverse this whole idea that, oh, Taiwan is an independent country because Taiwan has its own passport, Taiwan has its own government, Taiwan has its, well, reverse it. And China would be its own country because we over here, well, the locals, they have their own passport, they have their own laws, they have their own everything. So it would not, Taiwan would not be a large country that includes the People's Republic of China, India, and parts of Russia. It isn't. So you cannot go by the de facto claim that a state has, that, oh, I'm a country. You got to go by the de jure claim, which is, do other countries recognize you as a country? And they don't. So, yes, let's go to your point, Mario.
Folks, I'm about to, I'm not the original source. I'll reveal the original source in a moment. What I'm about to tell you, though, in the modern day, which is, like in, say, 2020, 2021, where we are this last quarter, nobody's talked about these key points on Taiwan that I'm about to talk about and reveal the source. When I tell you what I'm about to tell you, it's going to boggle your mind. And the source is James Bradley, the award-winning, amazing author and historian who boggled my mind, in which I'm sharing it with you. So James Bradley wrote, the original was Iwo Jima, the James Bradley author.
I got the video here. You want me to show the video?
Yeah. No, not yet. So
okay.
He published, Flags of Our Fathers, which was then made into a movie. Okay, great. So this is the guy. And then, more importantly, and to the point, is the other book that he had written, which I began researching through my friend Gary, who introduced it to me, because I got the role of General MacArthur in CCTV Prime Times Crossing the Yalu River about the battle, the Korean War, which China refers to as the war of U.S. aggression on the Korean Peninsula, which is a very accurate way of describing it, by the way. So because and that was amazing that I got to play General MacArthur. Yeah, here, let me do MacArthur for you for a second. Listen to me. We're going to cross. What is it? No, wait. I want it because I got my script exactly right. Listen to me. We're going to cross the Yalu River and we're going to destroy China once and for all. Yeah, that didn't work out real well since 20 years ago there, 71 years ago there, General MacArthur. Didn't work out real well at all, okay? So check out Crossing the Yalu River, Kwagwa Yalu Jiang. CCTV Prime Time was the most important TV series of China for 2021. And again, I appreciate it very, very much. They asked me to play the lead foreign role of General MacArthur. And so I researched back to James Bradley, the China Mirage, who clarified many points about that. I can't get into it. We don't have time today. We're at 9:18, and we got to be done in 12 minutes.
Well,
are you ready for this?
Something...
I didn't get to it yet. I didn't get to it yet. It's always me talking too much, right? But here's the point. What I learned from Bradley, and then we'll play the clip, okay? The very powerful family during the 1930s that was the Song sisters and brother, the whole Song family, Song Qinling, I believe I just said her name correctly, they were educated and raised in the United States. Again, remember, this is the 1930s, so this is the root of it, Fernando, and this matters to you and me because we spent a month shooting the documentary of that period, which we're still not allowed to talk about because it's still not released yet, okay? The 1930s is where this nonsense about Taiwan all began. And when I tell you why, you're just not going to believe it. The Song sisters, the Song family, powerful family, Chinese family, raised in America, educated in America, bamboozled, lied to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the President of the United States, bamboozled them into believing that Chiang Kai-shek would lead the China Mirage, as James Bradley refers to it. And what was the China Mirage? That China wanted, the people in China, this is in the 1930s, wanted to be just like Mike. Be like Mike. Be like the United States. They wanted to Christianize, and they wanted to be like Americans. They didn't like their own Chinese identity. I mean, can you imagine being that arrogant and crazy and delusional to believe that? So because that was the China Mirage in American politics, the Song family bamboozled Franklin Delano Roosevelt. They made a deal, okay? The deal that they made with a guy, named who? Chiang Kai-shek. What? Chiang Kai-shek? The leader guy? The one that opposed Mao? Yeah. The one that lost to Mao? Yeah. You didn't hear that part of the story. Mao was the winner. Chiang Kai-shek was the loser. This is not me being rhetorical or political. This is the historical facts. Read James Bradley's book. He's a historian. This is not about politics. Mao won. Chiang lost. Chiang Kai-shek lost. But the Song sisters, what was it all about? The Song sisters went to Chiang Kai-shek and said, we're going to make a deal with you. 1, you need to marry my sister. 2, you need to make my brother the minister of some, I think, Secretary of State. I don't know exactly. I don't remember from Bradley's
the Prime
speech.
Minister.
Right. 3, you need to become thank you. 3, you need to become a Christian. And 4, I don't remember from James Bradley's speech. So Chiang Kai-shek married the Song sister. They made a deal. They literally, folks, made a deal. And that deal was to bamboozle. Then they went to Roosevelt and said, look what's going on. Chiang Kai-shek is going to lead China to become Christian. He married my sister. They made a deal and bamboozled Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Delano Roosevelt. Delano. And then I'm done. 30 seconds. Delano. Write that down. Spell it. Delano. The grandfather of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who made his fortune doing what? The opium trade. The opium trade. Did you know Yale, Princeton, and I can't continue saying now because we're out of time, were all funded by the opium money. Okay? This is the original root. So when Chiang Kai-shek lost to Mao, he lost. Folks, he didn't win. He lost. He was the loser that ran with his ass tail hanging out, ran to Taiwan. But America thought, oh, we're backing Taiwan. We're backing Chiang Kai-shek, who lost because they got bamboozled by the Song family. That
They
China was
backed
going to
the
become
losing horse.
Christian. That China was going to become Christianized. Folks, this was 70, 80 years ago, and it continues to today. I'm done. Isn't that incredible, Fernando?
Well, let's bring it back to today and the politicians that are rooting for conflict here in China. It is very important whenever we talk about Taiwan to talk about the Rand Corporation paper that was published in 2016. We've talked about this many times. I invite you guys to all find it and read it. It's 300 pages, but it's going to blow your mind when it comes to uh, military calculations that are being made. Basically, this increase in aggression that we see from the West, it's calculated. It is
Yeah,
calculated. So
it
read
is.
the Rand Corporation report. By 2025, it will, the difference between the armies and the defense systems and the military losses is going to be minimal. So they got to do it before that. This is why
They're
I
not
want
going
to
to do
show
it. It's
you
already over.
very short clip, a very short clip of this man who is just watch.
Question was whether we could get the American people exercised enough that they would be willing to fight in those specific situations. And I think that the United States is so good at threat inflation and fear mongering that we'd have no problems with that issue.
Robert Daly.
Ha
Threat
ha! It's funny.
inflation.
It's a joke, right?
We're so good at
We are
scaring
the
you. We're so good at
yeah.
scaring you that we have no problem getting our younger generations go get killed at wars around the world. Ha ha ha. And here's the thing. America wants the Taiwanese youngsters to go die for what they want to do. There's not going to be many Americans. They want it to be a proxy war. So, people in Taiwan, the leaders in Taiwan, the people who support the government of Taiwan, do you realize that you're being manipulated? Do you realize that China wants a peaceful unification? How many times have they said it? And it doesn't have to be today, it doesn't have to be right now. China says we want peaceful reunification, period. Whenever it happens, it happens. But your politicians are selling you can of a father to go fight a war that is going to make money to the military industrial complex of the United States. You people in Taiwan
Afghanistan.
understand that you're being played. Think of Afghanistan, yeah.
Afghanistan was, and folks, it's crystal clear. It's crystal clear that Afghanistan. Why did it continue? Why did it continue? Why did they keep lying to us about Afghanistan? For one reason and one reason only. It was literally via forced military action and installed economy generating GDP. It was an installation of, it was an economic installation. We're going to install our economy in this territory. We're going to use the military to force it in. We're going to shoehorn it in there. We're going to do it by force. This is the country that is about your freedom, justice, and democracy for all of mankind. What are you joking? No, this is the country about bamboozling everyone to make billions and billions and billions for defense contractors and military contractors and politicians, like going all the way back to Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Who these
And
people,
how did
all
they
they
do
were
that?
interested in. This is all
How did
they're
they
interested in.
bamboozle? How did they bamboozle you? It's all the media. Let's go back to the 1930s, as you were saying. Do you know that Chiang
Four
Kai-shek
minutes.
was in the front page of Time magazine more times than other American presidents?
Thank you.
Media tries to sell all these stories to you. Let me show you something very interesting. This is what's happening
I
now.
Of the three laws passed recently in the US sets off $1,500 million, $1.5 billion, the next 5 years to train Western media and journalists to write exclusively negative stories about China. Now, in my view, this is the end of the free media.
This is why we are so important. This is why us YouTubers are outside the frame of a mainstream media, giving you the information that you need to know because you're being lied to. And nobody does it better than our own Wu Mao show, Nuri Taki. Let me show you this very short clip.
Chinese warplanes flying over Taiwan? Actually, no. Here's the full story in 60 seconds. In 1951, the US military went to the other side of the planet and drew a large box on a map of the South China Sea and said special rules apply in that area. Now, this was entirely outside of the rule of law. They were literally just making up stuff. The rule of law says countries have defense rights over their own land and coastline and air traffic information rights over their flight information region. US military's imaginary box around Taiwan, which they call the Air Defense Identification Zone, contains more of mainland China's land than it contained of Taiwan itself. What was the point of this? Corrupt or lazy journalists can tell the world that flights are making incursions into Taiwan's air defense space or flying over Taiwan when they're actually doing no such thing. Stay smart. Question every.
Nuri, it's a genius. It's fantastic. And, well, they're doing it again and again and again. And this is the latest thing that's coming up. This is the CIA thinking, how are we going to establish new spy controls around China? CIA beefs up China focus with new mission center.
Mission center? Mission. What is a
yeah.
what is a CIA China mission center? Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. The United States of America has U.S. embassies and consulates already in place all over the world, including China. So what do we need a mission center for? We already have consulates in the country here monitoring and watching everything that's happening here in China. I happen to be a Chinese civil volunteer liaison to the consulate up here in Shenyang in the Northeast. That's not being a spy. The purpose of it is to keep America and Americans who live here abreast of what's happening here locally in town, things that are of concern and of support to Americans, watching what's going on. So this is what consulates and embassies do. They promote, support, and protect America's interests in China. Is that reasonable? Sure. Every country in the world has consulates and embassies. That's what they're supposed to do. So what is a CIA China mission center? Nothing but a troublemaker. And I'm ending it on there. Fernando, you wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Last sentence. Look, America says we respect the One China agreement. They confirmed it in Zurich 3 days ago. They turn around and media reveals that there's troops training Taiwanese soldiers for over a year, effectively confirming that there's an invasion of China because we just stated that Taiwan is part of China. So what are we going to do? Yeah, tell me.
I was hopeful. This weren't you? I mean, tell me something. Weren't we both discussing this?
This is what America does.
The group with the, but we were hopeful. The last month, thank you. The last month, there was 4 or 5 items moving things in the right direction. You know, things were looking to cool off. You know, this is what we were all seeing and feeling encouraged by. That the U.S. realizes their situation is so weak, they got to calm down. Okay. China is the center of the world economically. I know that bothers everybody. I know that might bother you, but it's accurate, okay? China is the growth engine of the world. It's the center of the world. It's the largest, safe, stable, and successful and capable country on the planet that is supplying the planet in the middle of a pandemic. Why would you want to screw with that place? I mean, that's just lunacy. Thank you, Fernando. Wrap it up, buddy.
All right, guys. That's it. See you next time.